You don't have a focus problem. You have a performance problem. And I know that sounds strange. Most guys watching this right now think their issue is distraction, the phone, the noise, the notifications, the constant pull of everything that doesn't matter. And yeah, those things are real, but they're not the root cause. They're symptoms. The real reason you can't focus, the real reason your energy keeps leaking out, your goals keep stalling, and you keep ending each day feeling busy but not actually moved forward, is something no one has ever directly named for you. The Stoics named it 2,000 years ago, and today I'm going to show you exactly what it is, why it's draining you, and the 3 practices that seal it for good. Stay with me, because once you see this, you will not be able to unsee it. If you're new to Stoic 95, subscribe right now and hit the bell. Every week, we go deeper into the philosophy and the practical tools that actually move the needle in your life. Now, let's get into it.
Think about the last time you started something new. A goal, a habit, a project you actually cared about. What was the first thing you did after you decided to go for it? If you're being honest, you probably told someone. Maybe you posted about it. Maybe you sent a message to a friend. Maybe you just mentioned it in conversation, and it felt good to say it out loud. It felt like commitment. It felt like momentum. But then something happened. The fire dimmed a little. The urgency faded. And somewhere between the announcement and the actual work, things slowed down. And you told yourself it was because life got in the way, because you got busy, because the timing wasn't right. That wasn't the problem. What actually happened is that you experienced the leak. And it's been happening to you your entire adult life, in every goal, every plan, every intention you set, without you ever realizing it. Here's what the leak actually is. Every single day, you're spending an enormous amount of mental and emotional energy managing how you appear to your friends, to your coworkers, to people online who you've never even met. You're constantly curating, announcing, explaining, defending, adjusting your behavior based on what you think the people around you are thinking about you. And most of the time, you're not even aware you're doing it. It shows up in small ways. You explain your decisions to people who never asked. You defend your choices to critics who will never be satisfied. You hesitate on a decision not because you don't know the answer, but because you're running a calculation in the background. What will people think if I do this? You share updates before there's anything real to share. You seek validation before you've even started the work. And every single one of those moments, every one of them, is energy that flows out of you and never comes back. That is the leak. It's not your phone. It's not your environment. It's not your discipline. It's the deep, wired-in belief that your life needs an audience, that your progress needs to be witnessed, that who you are needs to be constantly validated by the people around you. And the brutal truth is this: as long as that leak stays open, it doesn't matter how motivated you are. It doesn't matter how good your goals are. It doesn't matter how hard you try. The energy will keep draining out, and you will keep wondering why you never quite get there.
Now, here's the thing. This isn't a modern problem. The Stoics were dealing with this exact challenge 2,000 years ago, in a world that was every bit as noisy and political and socially complex as ours. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man on earth, emperor of Rome. He had armies at his command, provinces under his authority, thousands of people watching his every move. And yet he sat down in private, in a journal he never intended anyone to read, and he wrote to himself about the constant danger of living for the approval of others. He wrote, You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He wasn't writing that because he had it figured out. He was writing it because he hadn't. Because even an emperor, a man with absolute power, was still fighting the same pull you're fighting right now. The pull to perform, the need to be seen and validated and approved of. Epictetus understood this differently. He was a slave. He had no status, no power, no resources, and yet he became one of the most respected philosophers of his era, and his teachings have survived 2,000 years. His core insight was this: the only thing that is ever truly yours is your own mind. Not your body, not your reputation, not what people think of you, just your mind. And the moment you start trying to control anything outside of that, especially other people's perceptions of you, you hand your power to forces that will never return it. Seneca, who advised emperors and was one of the most influential men in Rome, wrote something that stopped me cold the first time I read it. He said, "It is not that I am brave, it is that I know what is worth fearing." What he meant is that most of the things we spend our energy protecting, defending, and performing for, our image, our reputation, other people's opinions, are not real threats. They feel urgent, they feel important, but they cost us everything and return almost nothing. The Stoics weren't monks hiding from the world, they were in it, fully, running empires, advising kings, teaching hundreds of students. They were engaged with life at every level. They just refused to be defined by the audience watching them. And that distinction, engaged but not defined, that's the whole game. So, how do you seal the leak? Not with motivation, not with willpower, with 3 specific practices. Each one targets a different way the leak shows up in your daily life. And when you stack all 3, something shifts that you will feel inside your chest. Practice 1. The pre-silence rule. For any significant goal, decision, or new direction in your life, you say nothing for a minimum of 72 hours. Nothing on social media, nothing to friends, nothing to family unless they absolutely need to know for logistical reasons. You hold it inside. I know how that sounds, especially if you're the kind of guy who processes things out loud, who gets energy from talking through plans. But here's what the research actually shows, and the Stoics intuited this long before anyone had the science to prove it. Announcing a goal activates the same reward circuits in your brain as completing that goal. You get the dopamine hit, you get the feeling of progress without doing a single thing. Your brain chemically treats the announcement as partial completion, which means the drive to actually do the work goes down the moment you talk about it. The energy that should have gone into execution went into the performance of the intention. Marcus Aurelius wrote his entire philosophy in private. He never published it. He never shared it with his advisors or his generals. He wrote it for himself. And what came out of that private discipline was one of the most powerful and enduring books ever written. Meditations wasn't designed to impress anyone. That's precisely why it still does. The pre-silence rule is simple. New goal, new plan, new direction. 72 hours minimum before you say a word. Use that time to build instead of broadcast. Practice 2. The 24-hour response. When someone criticizes you, challenges you, insults you, or provokes a reaction in you, you wait 24 hours before responding. Not 5 seconds, not a deep breath, a full day. Here's why this matters in practical terms. The emotional charge of any stimulus drops significantly within hours. What feels like it demands an immediate response at 2 p.m. looks very different at 10 a.m. the next morning. The fire that felt like it required you to defend yourself, explain yourself, or fight back, most of the time, it goes out on its own. And if it doesn't, your response from a place of clarity is 10 times more powerful than whatever you would have fired back in the moment. Seneca called this the greatest remedy for anger: delay. He wasn't being poetic, he was giving you a biological tool. The reactive version of you, in that hot moment, is working with chemistry, cortisol, adrenaline, the ancient survival wiring that reads social threat the same way it reads physical danger. The version of you who waits 24 hours is working with intelligence. That version wins every time. And there's a deeper benefit. When you stop reacting immediately to every provocation, people notice. Not because you become cold or checked out, but because you become deliberate. People who don't get rattled carry a different kind of authority in every room they walk into. You've met men like that. You know the feeling of being in the presence of someone who can't be pushed around by noise. That's not personality, that's practice. Practice 3, the private scoreboard. Every evening, takes 3 minutes, you ask yourself one question, just one. Did my actions today match what I said matters to me? That's it. Not how many likes did my post get, not what did my boss think of my performance, not did anyone notice what I built today. Just, did I act in alignment with my own values and my own stated direction? This practice destroys the external scoreboard, the one that runs in the background of almost every man's mind, constantly measuring himself against other people's opinions, other people's progress, other people's expectations. The external scoreboard is designed to keep you chasing. It has no finish line. No matter what you achieve, it will show you someone who has more, someone who did it faster, someone who got more recognition for less work. It is an infinite loop of insufficiency. The private scoreboard has only one metric: alignment. You do what you said you were going to do. You live by the standard you chose. That's the whole measurement. And when you start living by that single metric, something remarkable happens. The need for external validation starts to dissolve. Not because you stopped caring about people, but because you stopped needing them to tell you who you are. Epictetus taught his students, first learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak. He meant know yourself before you try to explain yourself to others. The private scoreboard is how you build that self-knowledge, night by night, action by action, until the gap between what you intend and what you actually do closes completely. Now, I want to paint a picture for you, because information without vision is just noise. So let me show you what your life actually looks like when these 3 practices become your default. You wake up differently. Not dramatically, just differently. There's less noise in your head because you're not carrying yesterday's unresolved reactions into the new morning. You're not replaying arguments you should have let go. You're not anxious about what people thought of something you said or posted. You're just here, present, clear. Your mornings belong to you, not to notifications, not to other people's agendas, not to the first thing your phone wanted to tell you. Just you and the work that matters. At work, you've become someone different in a room. You don't get pulled into every fire that erupts around you. When drama comes up, and it always comes up, you don't react. You observe, you assess. You decide whether it actually requires your energy. Most of the time, it doesn't, so you let it pass and return to what you were building. People start to notice this about you, not loudly, not with compliments necessarily, but in the way they treat you. They stop trying to provoke reactions from you because it doesn't work. They start listening when you speak because you speak so rarely and so deliberately that when words come out of your mouth, they carry weight. Not because you've become impressive, because you've become consistent. Your goals stop disappearing. This is the one that gets most guys. You know the cycle. The excitement of a new goal, the announcement, the initial push, and then the slow fade. That cycle is the leak in its purest form. When you seal it, when you build in silence, when you keep the energy inside the work, the momentum doesn't dissipate, it compounds. Day 3 looks like day 1, but with more traction. Week 3 looks like week 1, but with visible results. And you start finishing things. actually finishing them. Following through in a way that has nothing to do with motivation and everything to do with the quiet, private commitment you made to yourself. Your relationships get better, not because you're working harder at them, but because you're more present. When you're not constantly monitoring how you're being perceived, you actually have capacity to hear what other people are saying. You stop half listening while you plan your next response. You stop scanning conversations for social signals. You're just there, fully. And people feel that. They feel seen. They feel like you're actually with them. And that is one of the rarest gifts one person can give another. The comparison trap loses its grip. When you're running your own private scoreboard, you stop measuring yourself against other people's timelines, other people's results, other people's definitions of success. You're on your own path. You have your own metric. And that singular focus, that clean, uncluttered direction, is exactly what produces the kind of results that eventually make other people compare themselves to you.
Here's what I need you to understand before you close this video. Marcus Aurelius didn't become unshakable because he had perfect circumstances. He had wars, plague, betrayal, and the weight of an entire empire pressing down on him every single day. He became unshakable because he committed to a daily practice of redirecting his attention from what he couldn't control to what he could. And he did that practice whether he felt like it or not. Epictetus didn't develop an extraordinary mind because he had freedom or resources or status. He had none of those things. He developed it because he understood that the mind was the one territory that could never be taken from him, only surrendered. And he refused to surrender it. You are not in those circumstances. You have more freedom, more opportunity, more access to information and tools than either of them ever had. The only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is the leak, the constant, unconscious hemorrhage of energy into performance, approval, and reaction. Seal it. 3 practices. 72 hours of silence before you announce anything significant. 24 hours before you respond to anything that triggers you. And every evening, one question: did I act in alignment today? That's the whole system. It's not complicated, but I want to be straight with you. It is uncomfortable at first. The urge to share, to defend, to seek approval, it doesn't go away overnight. It's been wired into you for decades. It is deeply social conditioning. But every time you resist it, you build something. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you reclaim a piece of yourself. Every time you measure your day by your own standard and not the world's, you become a little more sovereign. And over time, weeks, not years, it stops feeling like a struggle. It becomes your default. It becomes who you are. A man who doesn't need to announce his plans because he's too busy executing them. A man who doesn't need to defend his choices because he's certain of them. A man who doesn't need to perform because he's too focused on building. Here's your challenge for the next 7 days. Live by these 3 practices. Don't talk about doing it. Don't post about it. Don't announce the challenge to anyone. Just do it privately and watch what happens inside you. And in the comments, one word, just one. Tell me what you're done performing for. What has the leak been stealing from you? Drop it below. I read every single one. If this video hit different, share it with one man in your life who needs to hear it. Not to show them you watch good content, because you know they're leaking too. And because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for someone you respect is hand them the tool they didn't know they were missing. Subscribe to Stoic 95. New content every week, deeper every time. Stay silent, stay sovereign, build what matters.